And then editing and post-production. James will be the lead on this one. Take it away.
All right. Let's see what we got here. We got time coding of footage and gameplay. Yeah, definitely a good call on that one. Because when you get to editing, editing game footage, again, it's like nothing else. It's unlike any other kind of editing you're going to do, because you just have, there's so many variables in what you're showing. Like when you get to a certain part of the game, do you die on this part? Do you succeed on this part? How many different ways can you die on this part? So when you end up with hours and hours of game footage, once you get to the editing, you kind of have to like scrub through all that and find all those parts again that you want to show. So I think during the writing phase, for me, you know, which I think is probably the same kind of thing, time code everything out. Like as you're going, I will literally time code everything, you know, as I'm going through.
So will you like pause the game and say, okay, now I'm doing this. This is level 3. I'm getting eaten by a frog or something.
Yeah, basically, like your notes can be, you know, like, oh, I want to use this when I'm talking about how bizarre all the enemies are in this game. So there's this weird frog, so let's use it in this part. So yeah, do you all go through that kind of process?
Yeah, I didn't used to. And once again, you know, I eventually went to it. Actually, once again, because your video, and it makes it so much easier. But because how I would play it is, I would play. If you've played a game before, I was just trying to think, okay, I want to capture graphics when I play the game. I want to make sure that I capture this one area, going back to the planning stage, you know, that we've talked about previously, and I want to make sure that I do this, this, and this. And sometimes it's hard to do the one of those pieces, but even in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to rip this really quick, so I know where I was. All I have to do is look for this footage, but it's time consuming. And it's so much easier if you just quickly write down, okay, this is this time, and then you're back onto it. And then when you need to go, oh, that's where it was, and you're right there.
Yeah, if you take the time up front to code your footage and gameplay, you'll save like 10 times the time on the back end. So what I like to do is, if I'm capturing gameplay footage, after it's captured, I'll go back and I'll watch it from front to back and start writing. That's when I start doing it. Then I guess I use that with the writing process as well, because I bet, okay, I should really talk about that. And so I basically killed 2 birds with 1 stone. I don't know if these guys do that. That's how I work a little bit. Joey, do you do any of this?
I'm pretty much like Justin. I started just, here's my massive file of gameplay footage, and I didn't even name it or anything. It's like 1. Here's 1. Here's file 2. You know. Eventually, I started doing it, so I would create a different file for each. You know, every 10-15 minutes, like, oh, I'm in this stage. Here's the name of the stage, so I can easily find it. So I don't normally specifically write down time codes unless there's a very specific thing I want to talk about. And I'll say, oh, okay, here it is. But yes, it definitely saved a lot of time. Just naming the files instead of untitled one.
Yeah, so a lot of times you learn the hard way. So a lot of us have probably gone through the same thing, just like, oh, well, this way is much easier. But the editing rhythm, just like, I guess what we want to talk about here is just like how, like, are you cutting really, really fast as you're like saying, like a lot of times I go through like I list all the things that bother me in it or something, and then it's like you want to cut the visuals to match the narration.
Yeah, I mean, editing could sort of establish a tone in your video too. Mm-hmm. The way you edit can maybe help you out a little bit, sort of like help you define what you're trying to say even. No?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's so many ways you can edit. Like, I do a lot of zooms too. Like, I'm always zooming into little parts that I'm talking about. So yeah, do you guys have any things?
I tend to edit, obviously, you brought this up, I think in the first slide, or second, about when you're editing, you must be speaking about what's on screen. I cannot stress that enough. I've seen game reviews before where that doesn't happen, and I just want to click off immediately.
Isn't that an important adage just in
for anything
making in general?
Yeah.
Show, don't tell.
Exactly.
Or if you're telling, show it as well.
Yes, show and tell. True. But yes. But basically, yeah, because if someone's telling me, okay, wow, this boss is difficult to defeat, or I can't believe I can't make this jump, and then they're showing like random footage from like the 4th level of a game that has nothing to do with it, I'm just like, then why are you talking about it then? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's lazy, you know, it's just...
Yeah, it definitely can be, but there are some times when, like, do you guys ever come to parts where, like, you don't know what to show if your narration is kind of talking about a generic thing, and you have to sort of cut to it and invent something that is appropriate, you know, like...
Do you have an example?
An example, yeah, like say you're just saying, like, you're kind of talking like a recap of this game, or you're saying something like, maybe it could be like a personal experience, like, oh, I remember when I played this game, and then sometimes you go back and you're like, well, that should have been either on screen, like I should have been on screen talking about this part, because there's no part in the game that specifically relates to it, so then you might, like, you know.
Honestly, that's where I get a little bit lazy, and I just kind of let random footage go. I mean...
I think we all do.
Oh, sweet, I don't have to worry really much about the editing for
I usually cut the shots of kittens. That's just what I just do. It works. I sometimes when I do that, there's always footage that I enjoy for some reason, whether it's something that really stood out because it was graphically nice, I couldn't fit in, or something that was challenging. I'll just put that in there. Something that just amused me. Maybe I did something really stupid, or something was cute in the game. I'll just throw that in.
That's a great opportunity for like a catch-all clip, you know, something interesting that doesn't really fit anywhere else.
Yeah. I always end up with scraps a lot of times, like, oh, this footage, I don't know where to put this, and then at the end you'll be like, oh, there we go, we'll put it there.
Yeah. I know it's will be interesting later, but I don't know exactly where.
Exactly. So we got color correction and audio editing. So another thing that can be very underrated, I think you just cut it all together and it's done. So I guess we should go color correction first. I use Final Cut, so I use the 3 color corrector thing, and you know, a lot of times, like if you didn't white balance or something, there's always things that are wrong. And even if it seems, got some feedback here. Even if it seems like it's all right, you could always make it look better. So yeah, just want to go down. Just comment on anything.
Color correction, white balance. You know, that's a big thing. And if your camera does an auto white balance, and this is a little trick that I learned, very rarely try and use the auto white balance, because if it auto white balances and you bring up something that's brighter, the entire frame will just go out of, you know, it'll just become too white. And you know, when I did the Itadaki Street, I was trying to figure out what the heck was going on, you know, why this shot kept on getting dark, and then I realized I had the frickin' auto white balance on. So it's very important to white balance manually if you can at the very beginning, and just make sure that your shots, if you do have something that gets bright, you know, that it doesn't get too, you know, the rest of the area doesn't get too dark. You know, that's what you bet.
I'm very lazy when it comes to color correcting. I'm gonna be totally honest. I either overlook it or I'm like, yeah, whatever. No, but sometimes I use it. Sometimes when I shoot, different cameras shoot differently to begin with in terms of colors. Like I think Canons notoriously shoot warmer than was it? I think Sony's shoot like cooler in terms of blue versus red tones. So like I just shot like green screen footage. I just did a Christmas special. I did a lot of green screen footage, and I found that when I was chroma keying things, it took out a lot of the reds a lot. So I looked like blue. I was like bluish. So I kind of threw some yellows and red midtones back in there, and it made it look okay. It's almost about how I should look in real life. So that sort of worked out. But I don't do it on every video now.
I just shoot from the torso up.
You know, a lot of times you can underestimate the blacks. The blacks are kind of tough. I remember sometimes you'd see something in a dark area that you're not supposed to see, like maybe like somebody's holding up a Mr. Bucket that's trying to kill me or something. And then like, then you look at it later and it's like, oh, wait a minute, that wasn't as dark as I thought it was, and you can see that, and you're not supposed to. So then you like crunch your blacks down, and then you could actually darken those areas more. So, yeah, use the like all the video scopes. See, this is a really technical topic, so it'd be best if we had like a Final Cut up here.
It's a little advanced. I mean, if you're just starting out, you might not worry as much, but you know, as you go along,
you'll get there. Color correction is like, yeah, about the audio editing.
It's one of those things that You'd notice it if you're watching a big movie or something like that. If like you go from one shot in the same room to the next and the color temperature is completely different, or at least you'll notice